Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about 9 reasons why following the traditional gluten-free diet may not relieve your health issues, your health problems. So do a little comment down below and let me know if you have been following a gluten-free diet and feel like it's either not helping, or B, it is helped a little, but you still have some issues going on. So just indicate in the comments below. So why might this be? Well, it's interesting that after following a strict gluten-free diet for like 2 years, 30 to 60% of adults still experience gut damage. Okay? And regardless of whether they had symptoms or not, or they had positive blood tests or not, the same thing was true. 33% of the adults experienced gut damage. So you can have gut damage without experiencing symptoms. Okay? 1 in 5 children do not heal after following a gluten-free diet. So why might this be? So in my research this week, I am going to be including 9 different reasons as to why you may need something more than your traditional gluten-free diet. Okay, so what is the traditional gluten-free diet? Traditional gluten-free diet means you avoid gluten from wheat, barley, and rye. Sometimes oats. They say you can have oats if it is labeled gluten-free, because they feel there is just cross-contamination between the fields of wheat and oats. But research has shown that there's more to it than that. It's interesting that those standards that I just talked about, the wheat, barley, and rye, those were set in place by a study over 60 years ago. Let me say that again. Over 60 years ago. Okay? I think science has come really far since then. Okay? And what's even more interesting is that there was only 10 participants in that study. Only 10. The second thing that's interesting is that since that 60-year study, over 60-year study, the definitions of gluten, of what constitutes gluten definitions are changing. The third thing is that some people have a problem with what is labeled as gluten-free. Okay, what constitutes a gluten-free product? Well, it can be as much as 20 parts per million, which, when you put it out in a decimal, it's not very much. But if you are a serious, really sensitive person to gluten, you may not be able to handle that. Then there's cross-contamination. You go into a restaurant and they give you a gluten-free menu, right? Now, what happens, how many times, we've had somebody say, do you really need gluten-free or do you just want it? What difference does it make? We're the customer. I happen to need it, but what difference should it make to the waiter or the waitress? The other thing that's interesting is that they can take your order and mark on it gluten-free, gluten-free, gluten-free. But what happens back there in that kitchen can be completely different. Maybe everybody back there hasn't been trained. Maybe everybody back there doesn't understand the importance of gluten-free from a health perspective. Does the restaurant have a dedicated fryer? And they might say, yes, we do. Well, let me tell you, I've been to restaurants where they say they have a dedicated gluten-free fryer, like for French fries and things. I have had those French fries come out, and you can smell the onion on them, like from onion rings. And I have even had them where I have found a piece of the onion ring batter. And when I point this out to the manager, I mean, first they're like, no, it can't be, it's totally gluten-free. Like, but look at here, look at this piece of batter. People are human. Workers are human. They're going to make mistakes. You cannot guarantee gluten-free, even if it says gluten-free in the restaurant. It just can't be done. In fact, a recent restaurant I went to, they have removed gluten-free from their menus. It's now labeled as GS, gluten sensitivity, because they cannot guarantee that there's no cross-contamination happening back in the kitchen. True story. There's also cross-reactivity foods. And learn what that is more in my research this week as well. So I have 4 more reasons that I include in my research, and of course all the research links that go with it. So stay tuned and look forward to when I release that on Friday. Now, go be awesome.